12:05. Another 3 million people filed for unemployment benefits last week. The U.S. Labor Department released new totals this morning, and this is the 7th week in a row that unemployment claims have topped 3 million. More than 33 million people have lost their jobs since February. That's about a quarter of our country's workforce. Jolene Kent has a closer look.
Another devastating headline rocking the economy. Nearly 3.2 million claims for unemployment were filed last week. The total number since the pandemic began in mid-March now surging above 33 million. It's a bad sign of what's to come in Friday's jobs report. Payroll processor ADP already reporting at least 20 million private sector jobs were lost in April. The hardest hit industries are trade, transportation and utilities, construction and hospitality, with a total of more than 14 million furloughed. Feeling the pressure is Frank Facero-Reese, the owner of Rothschild's Restaurant, a family-run business that's been feeding Newport Beach residents since 1977. He's using money from a PPP loan to pay his rent and 5 cooks to fill takeout orders, but was also forced to lay off 20 employees.
It's horrible. People that we've had working here for 30 years, and you have to look them in the eye and tell them that, that this is not going to be sustainable. It's tear-jerking, honestly. It's very frustrating.
Out-of-work restaurant employees and construction workers are living examples of the real-world impact those jobless numbers have.
Hopefully I have a job to go back to.
Emilio Marocchioli is a third-generation painter living in New Jersey with his wife and 3 kids, with one more on the way. He's now getting unemployment, but still hasn't been able to get all the benefits he's entitled to.
I can't get through the Department of Labor to even let me know what happened.
With over 30 million jobless claims filed in just the last 6 weeks, state agencies are already pushed to their limits. Some unemployment systems buckling under the pressure, websites crashing, hours-long wait times, and funds lost in the mail, adding to the growing frustration. Hope and money seemingly running out for people who desperately need both.
The stream of bad economic news is likely to continue tomorrow when the Labor Department puts out its April jobs report. We're expecting to see an unemployment rate of at least 15%, which would be the worst since the Great Depression. Jolene Kent, NBC News, Los Angeles.
Washington State's COVID-19 response team now says 60% of coronavirus deaths in our state and 19% of all cases are linked to long-term care facilities. As of last week, officials say 507 people who lived at, worked at, or visited long-term care facilities have died, and 2,900 people have tested positive. Nursing homes have been hit particularly hard by the pandemic. The nation's first major outbreak was at the Life Care Center of Kirkland, right here in King County, where more than 40 people died. Governor Inslee says large-scale antibody testing could be coming to Washington State, and he says that state officials are in talks with a manufacturer called Abbott Laboratories, looking at the possibility of expanding antibody testing across our state. The governor hopes this would help retroactively measure the spread of the virus and could show how active it still is in Washington. One of President Trump's personal valets has tested positive for coronavirus. A White House spokesperson says this is the closest the virus is known to have come to the president, but also says both the president and Vice President Pence have since tested negative for coronavirus. 43 states will have reopened by Sunday, and health officials say in some of them they are already seeing a new surge in coronavirus cases. NBC's Peter Alexander has the latest on the White House's response.
With more states easing their stay-at-home restrictions, President Trump acknowledges more Americans will lose their lives.
We have to be warriors. We can't keep our country closed down for years, and we have to do something.
By Sunday, at least 43 states will have completely or partially reopened. Bloomberg reporting 10 of them without meeting the White House's recommended guidelines, including a downward trajectory of cases over a 14-day period. President Trump now pulling the plug on his plans to shut down the coronavirus task force as the death toll nationwide climbs past 72,000. That reversal coming a day after the president discussed plans to phase it out.
I had no idea how popular the task force is until actually yesterday. When I started talking about winding it down, I'd get calls from very respected people saying, I think it would be better to keep it going.
Now he says he'll extend it indefinitely with a focus on safety and opening up our country again, saying Drs. Birx and Fauci will remain on the team. And at a National Nurses Day event at the White House,
I've been reusing my N95 mask for a few weeks now.
The president took issue with one of his guests on the availability of personal protective gear for first responders.
So PPE has been sporadic, but it's been manageable, and we do what we have to do. We're nurses, and we learn to adapt.
Sporadic for you, but not sporadic for a lot of other people.
Oh, no, I agree, Mr. President.
Because
Absolutely.
I've heard the opposite. I've
Yeah.
heard that they are loaded up with gowns now.
Peter Alexander reporting. Nurses are protesting in Washington, D.C. You can see several of them gathering in front of the White House today wearing these masks, holding signs, trying to stay 6 feet apart, standing next to empty shoes to represent the healthcare workers who have died trying to treat people with coronavirus. The demonstration was organized by the country's largest nurses union.